Student's trying to measure the diagonal of a blackboard, but he doesn't have a tape measure long enough. Okay, so if we think about a blackboard is just a big old rectangle. And we know it's 12 feet across, and we know it's 5 feet tall. And we know he wants to measure, and this should be a straight line, but I can't draw it straight, should be a diagonal that he wants to measure. So he wants to know how long is that side. Well, we know anytime we have a rectangle, we know we have a 90-degree corner. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to erase the part of the picture that we don't need. Okay. Now we have a triangle. And anytime you're working with a right triangle and you're finding the lengths of the sides, that goes back to the Pythagorean theorem. Okay, hopefully you remember a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, where a and b are the two short sides of the right triangle, and C is the diagonal. Okay, so then we know A and B would be the two shorter sides. So now we have the Pythagorean theorem. Again, just rewriting it, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. First thing we have to do is we have to substitute the numbers in. Then after we do that, we're going to square both the numbers. And remember, square is the little exponent 2, which just tells us that you're going to multiply something by itself. Okay? And what we mean there is if I have 8 squared, I know I'm just doing 8 times 8, which is 64. Then, after you square both the numbers, then you're going to add those together. Then after adding those together, the last step of the Pythagorean theorem is you're going to find the square root. Normally the square root, you probably need a calculator, but I'm going to guess this works out perfectly with a multiplication table since you told me you can't use a calculator. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with substituting in the values here. Okay. So remember, a squared plus b squared. Now, the two short sides, doesn't matter which is a, which is b. So I'm going to do 5 squared plus 12 squared equals, I don't know, c. So I'm going to substitute those in. Now, squaring, just as a reminder, okay, over here in blue, we multiply a number by itself. So 5 times 5 is 25. 12 times 12, if you remember your multiplication facts, you'll know that one. If not, we just come over here to the side, do our long multiplication. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. Put our 0 to hold the place for the 10. 2 times 1 is 2. Then I do 1 times 1, which is 1. After I've multiplied, now I go through and I add both those rows together. So 4 plus 0 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. 1 plus nothing is 1. So 12 squared is 144. Okay. So I substituted, I squared, now I have to add them together. Okay, 25, 144. Okay, so I'm going to add 5 plus 4 is 9, 4 plus 2 is 6, 1 plus nothing is 1. So I know 25 plus 144 is 169. Okay, Now, the last part, which we're talking about here in red, we have to find the square root. And this is where it can kind of get tricky without a calculator. Okay? Anytime you find the square root, you're like undoing a square. So you're asking yourself, what did I multiply by itself to get 169? Well, just from the problem, 12 times 12 was pretty close. So if we don't know, let's just try 13 and 13. Okay, because 144 is close, so let's go up a little bit. I multiply, just doing my long multiplication here again, add those together. So I know 13 times 13 is 169, so I know the measure of that diagonal side then would be 13.